Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we are starting today with the situation in the Black Sea. Our speaker is Dmytro Pletenchuk, spokesman of the Ukrainian Navy. Good afternoon. We're always happy to have you here. Last week, James Hippie said that the Black Sea Fleet of the Russian Federation experienced losses in the sea, meaning that the Russian Black Sea Fleet was moved to Novorossiysk, and it is considered as a victory of Ukraine in the Black Sea. What is the situation now? There are changes in the general situation. The Russian Black Sea Fleet has been scattered in different military bases. So the main base used to be in Sevastopol, but we can see that a lot of ships are taken to other places like Odesa and Novorossiysk. There are several reasons to that. Over the recent period, the Russian Black Sea Fleet has been using only missile carriers. Other ships are not involved in hostilities, but there is the risk they can lose these ships because of our activity. That's why they have decided to move them to other bases in Novorossiysk, for example, in the internationally recognized borders of the Russian Federation, which is protected by the international law. And they believe that it is safer for them to keep their ships there. And there is no sense in putting under risks those ships that are not used in combat activity. Yes, and of course, this is the result of activities of the Ukrainian Navy, that the Russian Black Sea Fleet cannot feel safe even in its bases, including our Sevastopol, which is located in the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea. So there are changes to the general picture. But we cannot say that it has a major impact on the general situation, because the Black Sea Basin is closed. There is Lohodon Channel, which is the exit, but this is the same water area, and the general picture is not affected by the movement of ships between the airpoints. They are more represented now in the Azov Sea, but still they have a lot of ships, more than 30, and the number of missile carriers has not been changed, around 10 ships, but we can see some novelties here, because these missile carriers go to the sea empty. What is their objective? Maybe they try to deceive us. They want us to spend more resources for monitoring. Or maybe this is just the question of how their service is organized. And yesterday and today there has been only one submarine carrying missiles, and we also expect it to be empty. But because of the storm, even the boats of FSB are in harbor. We cannot see them even around the peninsula, so there is only one submarine. The movement of ships to Novorossiysk, can it decrease the risk of shelling of the territory of Ukraine, including the Odesa region? No, because the range of caliber missiles is around 2,000 kilometers, and it just will affect the amount of time we have for a response. So we have more time for maneuvers. So we have more time just to intercept those missiles. But actually, yes, but the distance is not that big. These are not missiles that are launched from the Caspian area. So the first objective for them is to keep their ships' face, and also just for us not to have the possibility to attack them. And that's what we saw during summer. They were more in the East Black Sea, in the North Black Sea. And there was also information that they allegedly plan to build a base in Odesa. This is possible, and this is not that difficult to organize. So it could make logistics more complex because is that enclave is cut away, but we will see actually if it could be possible in the future. But even if they build such military base, it will be more in the eastern part of the Black Sea, and we don't see them now in the south and east of the Black Sea, and it is very important in the south and west of the Black Sea. And that is very important when it comes to our safety, because when we saw them there last time, they were accompanying their supply vessel that returning through Bosphorus from Turkey to Syria. We cannot say for sure what was there on board, but that vessel was accompanied by several boats. We see that lately there is an increased number of Onyx missiles used to attack the Odesa region. What is the reason for that? It could be because there is a lack of missiles, and we can see that now it takes for them more time to accumulate missiles to attack us. And as you see, that with every wave, they use less missiles. So they need to wait for their military-industrial complex to manufacture the amount of missiles they need to massively attack our territory. And as you can see, they prefer to use more than 1 or 2 missiles. Could it be the reason for active use of Iranian drones? It is cheaper, and they can achieve the numbers they got used to. And of course, their main objective when they use that amount of UAVs is to put additional burden on the air defense system of Ukraine. That's why they use dozens of drones, and despite the fact that sometimes we're able to shoot down 100% of the drones, they use that amount to reach at least several targets. And we know about their targets, and they include our port infrastructure facilities. And after Russia had left the grain deal, their talking heads said first that they would not attack port infrastructure facilities, that this is not about Russia or Putin. But in 2-3 months, the same talking heads boasted how they destroyed our port infrastructure facilities. That's why we should not expect any adequacy from our enemy. According to the statements of representatives of the Russian Federation, they attack military equipment there in our port infrastructure. So I don't think there is any sense in discussing their statements, because they have this huge propaganda machine, including the whole pool of their mass media, press services, which should not be the case according to the international standards. But they produce mainly lies and fakes. And they discredited themselves at the beginning of 2014. And for the last 9 months, they just have proved their image of the supporters of Orwell novel 1984. The intelligence of the Great Britain provided information that the Russian Federation is planning to mine entries to the Odesa region ports. The mine danger is always there, taking into consideration the amount of mines they have already put and the approaches that they have used. So we can see threats from them about possible advanced mining, and we have special units responsible for these issues. But the danger is still there. First of all, it is related to the approaches to mining. So they put drifting mines to the sea that can drift along our coastline because of the currents that we have here, and they're well aware of that. And they, with such approaches, violate all international conventions. And when it comes to mining, their only target is civilian vessels, because Ukraine for Russia is first of all a competitor at the agricultural market. And this is how Russia tries to fight us as their competitor, as the top producer of agricultural products, because Russia is also present in the market. And they take all measures to fight us there as well. So this is the objective, to block our export. For Ukraine, it's 90%. Before the full-scale invasion, it was the case through the sea. And of course, this is the main export and import way and route for our country. That's why Russia has been taking efforts to block us. They could not rely upon some drone to hit a mine. This is not logic from the military strategy and tactics. So there is only one objective. There is only one objective that they have. But we do everything possible to ensure safety and security of vessels. And I would like to remind once again that the information has not been proved, that in Romanian waters a vessel hit a mine. There was an incident, and the investigation is ongoing on behalf of the Romanian party. So we cannot disclose any information at the moment, but we are 100% sure that that was not the anti-vessel mine. So, and the investigative bodies of our neighboring country will provide information. So at the moment, you don't see any attempts of the Russians to mine entries to our ports. They can do that near their coastline, but we don't see any increase in related activities. And now, because of the weather conditions, it is very difficult to do anything. Dear colleagues, do we have any questions? Michael Vasura, Newsweek. The winter is coming. How the operative situation in the Black Sea affects the possibility of Ukraine to protect its civilian infrastructure this year. This is not our first winter in the conditions of the full-scale invasion. We survived last winter, although it was difficult. But we learned the lessons, and this year we are more prepared to possible challenges. From strategical and tactical point of view, nothing has been changed. The enemy will act as it acts. We will fight against them. We will counteract their attacks. And when it comes to civilian carrier transportation, this is the question to the responsible civilian structures. We ensure safety and security in our territorial waters, and the part of the route going through our territorial waters. This is our main task. As soon as vessels get to the territorial waters of Romania or Bulgaria or Turkey, they are relatively safe because that is territorial sea of the NATO countries. And in propaganda shows Russia can continue fighting the whole NATO, but in reality they will not dare to attack those territories. So we will continue performing our tasks and ensure safety and security of the route. By we, I mean not only the Navy, but other parts of the armed forces of Ukraine. You've mentioned that you're ready to any challenges, but what are the key challenges that you expect in autumn and winter? First of all, the biggest problem is their use of aircraft and missiles. We are waiting for the changes in weapons, and we rely on our colleagues from the air defense forces that in the long run they will be able to get jets to close the sky over our territory. Because when it comes to the Navy of Ukraine, we have closed the sea. We have the units on duty, and Russia knows well that it is dangerous for them to approach our territories. They have lost 2 combat units in the sea, and the water area is 25,000 square kilometers is now closed. So there is still the question of closing the skies over Ukraine. As soon as this is solved, we could expect significant increase in the level of security. And still, there is a danger of use of drones and missiles, and we do everything possible to counteract that. According to the information of the air forces of Ukraine, this autumn, this winter, they can use the record number of Shaheds UAVs. Yes, so we can see that they have those UAVs, and they either have started producing them by themselves, or they have enough supply from their allies. But we will respond respectively to the threat. We can also see increased air attacks on the Zmyny Island. It really surprises us. They cannot approach it. So it is unclear why they continue attacking the island. It is difficult to understand the reasons. Perhaps they want to show their military presence, or perhaps this could also be attempts to clear up the island from our presence. But we cannot say that it has a significant impact on the situation in the Black Sea. The provision of jets, fighter jets to Ukraine can change the situation. Yes, we rely upon that the situation will be changed to the better for us. Thank you very much, Dmytro, for being with us today. We're always happy to have you here. We will continue our work at 1 p.m.